on you to doubt El Daniel, because this guy's a serious professional.
Brett screwed Brett.
Yeah! Can he do it? Over! Oh, and a kick out! Unbelievable!
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am the Macho King Savage.
Woo! Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty!
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. People, are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 every single year? They come out with these new latest and greatest wrestling games. Stop immediately. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available exclusively through Facebook. You can create a wrestler, sign contracts, get paid, get involved in storylines, headline pay-per-views. You can even create a corporation, build it up from the ground all the way up to the top, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users, totally free. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family and you want your name in the shoutouts like my really good buddy John down in Texas, then jump over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. Don't forget loyalty rewards. $15 a month contributor, you can co-host a live show with me. $7.50 a month contributor, I'll enter you into a drawing to do the same. Everybody, welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you've got questions, comments, something you just want us to get into in a future episode, give us a shout over at the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line 267-642-1160, and we will try to get to all of that in a future show. Got to start with the big conversation that's been going on for a couple weeks now, the return of CM Punk, and really the discussion about his two promos that started his return. His promo when he first got to Raw that sounded like a PG edited corporate bunch of nonsense that he followed up at the very end when the microphone was cut off with, "I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money." And I know a lot of people didn't like that watered down CM Punk, "I'm so glad to be home" nonsense. And I didn't either. I think it was something clearly that was written for him and didn't sound like CM Punk at all. Then he goes over to SmackDown, where it's very obvious to me that, yes, it's still written for him, but I do love the fact that there was a little more edginess to this promo at SmackDown, where he could call everybody out, acknowledging the tribal chief, putting the seed out there for a future Roman Reigns confrontation. I thought that was fantastic. Talking about people like Kevin Owens, who there's been a rumor for a long time that there was a possibility of the two of them working together. I didn't really like the play on the debate between whether he wanted to, hang out with Jey Uso or, throw down with Jimmy Uso, talking about Solo Sikoa the way he did. I really thought it would have been interesting if he would have, when talking about Solo Sikoa, if he would have brought up Umaga. I thought that would have been a really cool throwback. Or even Rikishi. Why not? Talk about some of the other Samoans. Instead, he talked about how there's a million cousins and whatnot. And I get all that. And I understand it. I thought that was decent. Absolutely loved three things about that promo. Look, because the people listening to this show, and myself included, are diehard wrestling junkies, we had to have loved the, it's 2023, you can't just walk into the locker room and hit somebody in the face kind of line. Obviously, a shot at AEW and what happened in the back, whether that be Brawl Out or with Jack Perry earlier this year. Clearly, that was a shot at them. And I think at this point, that's WWE letting him get it off his chest to silence that small percentage of the audience that actually still cares about that, like you and I, and then move on. You're in WWE now. They're the big leagues. They don't need to be worrying about the little leagues, who they always reference as not being competition to begin with. What I absolutely love, though, the other two things I love the comment about the one guy who's not even the man in his own house. What a perfect line. I thought that was just masterful. Actually, everything he said about Seth Rollins was very, very solid. You follow that up with what he says on Monday Night Raw when he goes to Raw and makes the announcement that he's joining the Red brand. It's been an interesting week for CM Punk, to say the least. And we can't forget to talk about the fact that he showed up at NXT for the first time. And oddly enough, I don't know if I'm the only one to notice this, but it looked like to me he was really impressed with what everything looked like, almost like he was getting like this throwback to the original Ring of Honor feel of the place, which really, if you take a look at where they perform and everything, it's very similar, at least in terms of the crowd size and everything else that they could do there. And I thought that was nice. Obviously, we knew he was never going to go to NXT to begin with. He's too big a star for that. But it was nice to have him show up there just to pop the ratings a little bit and get some excitement going for NXT. But I do think joining Raw, at least right now, is the right call because obviously Cody Rhodes has such a built-in story with Roman Reigns. You don't want to put him, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes over to SmackDown. So you got to keep Raw having some talent at the absolute top of the echelon. And what I really find interesting is the conversation with Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw. Seth, giving him almost the same promo he gave to Cody in 2022 when Cody came back. Talk about how he left and wanted to tear this place down, all that kind of fun stuff. I enjoyed that. But then you got to think about it going forward. Where does this lead to? I mean, obviously CM Punk announced he's in the Royal Rumble. I have no problem with CM Punk winning the Rumble if the intent is for him to challenge Seth Rollins for one very specific reason. We do not need to elevate Roman Reigns' championships because they've always been the top prize. Seth Rollins' championship, look, if you pay attention, listen to Wrestle Talk News, listen to What Culture, listen to Dave Meltzer, all of them, Busted Open Radio, who are all four fantastic news sources, but all of them refer to Seth Rollins' championship as essentially a consolation championship. And that's kind of what it feels like if the winner of the Royal Rumble comes out and it decides to challenge for that championship. One, the match with Seth Rollins would be amazing. It's what we've been waiting for. Two, it lends a serious level of credibility to that championship, which I think it sorely needs. Right now, it's just not on the level with a major world championship, and we want it to be. So I think that would be the one way I wouldn't mind CM Punk winning the Rumble. I do not want to see CM Punk and Roman Reigns. I get it. I've listened to every show there is to listen to, watched every website there is to watch. I know it would probably be the biggest box office attraction. However, we could do that later. The people have waited long enough for Cody, and let's be honest. People want to talk business, let's talk business. One of the reasons is somebody like a CM Punk or somebody like a Jade Cargill or somebody like a Brian Pillman, or in the future, if he hasn't already re-signed, MJF, Ricky Starks, people like that, the reason they would consider coming to WWE is because of how AEW talent is treated once they get there. In the past, let's be honest, WWE used to treat WCW guys like they were second-rate citizens. Same thing with ECW guys. This is different. Jade has been given a beautiful entrance. By the way, shout out to Jade Cargill. Prayers and wishes with her family. She lost her mother this week. Horrible, tragic loss. We wish her nothing but peace and serenity as she goes through all that. But in terms of attracting talent, I think that's a huge part of why she and Brian Pillman Jr. considered coming to WWE, because they presented Cody so well. But what does it say if you present him that well and you never put him on top? Look how long it took for Rob Van Dam to finally get a championship, only to have it taken away right away because of his marijuana charge, and never make it to the main event scene in WWE again. You don't want to see that happen. Cody has to finish the story this year, and if you put CM Punk into that position, I don't think you'll ever catch that lightning again in a bottle. You just won't. It's going to be tough enough as it is. I think fans are invested enough. Everybody expects it, and this is one time WWE needs to do the right thing by the fans. Not to mention, I would be much more interested in Gunther challenging either Seth Rollins, CM Punk, or Cody for a championship this coming year once he loses the Intercontinental Championship, which I predict. You ready? My early prediction, I predict he loses to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. If he does not, it would be something where he and Brock will have a match. I just can't see any other match for him other than Brock Lesnar. They wrestle at WrestleMania. Maybe Brock beats him down so much he still sneaks out the win, and you have Chad Gable win it on Monday the night after. Maybe Braun Breaker debuts on Monday and takes the title. I don't know. But I think that's a better way to do it, to set Gunther up for a world championship program with whoever you'd like, and I would prefer that. CM Punk and Roman Reigns could be SummerSlam's main event or something of that nature, but that's where I would go with this. But I do love the promo. I love the shout-outs to Randy Orton and LA Knight. I thought that was solid. You throw in, some love to Cody Rhodes on SmackDown. I thought all that was fantastic. I really did. I think since being back, Punk seems to be firing on all cylinders, and all the reports coming out of the back, whether it's Booker T talking about his appearance at NXT, Shawn Michaels, anybody else, all the reports coming out saying that he's very cordial, seems very positive, very upbeat, very happy, and not in the artificial way. So maybe he is. Maybe he is just finally finding what he needs to find to be happy. Somebody not happy right now, Charlotte Flair. If you were watching the last Friday's SmackDown, landed awkwardly during her match with Asuka and clearly had an injury to her knee. It looks like this is a legit injury. They're expecting her to be out for quite some time. There's apparently no timetable on her return. She's been sent home, taken off of all the booking for the next foreseeable future. What a blow, and what a bad time to have an injury like that. Royal Rumble right around the corner, WrestleMania right after that. Hopefully this is nothing so serious that it keeps her out long term and she can still be a part of those plans, because let's be honest, we all know there's got to be a whole lot that they've got planned for her in the coming year. Before I move on too much, I want to go back to Seth Rollins just for a moment. His contract. Word got out this week, Fightful Select, followed up by Dave Meltzer, also same information, that Seth Rollins' contract is going to run out this summer. That would be... normally I would be concerned. June, apparently 2024 is when his contract is up. But apparently he is so well regarded in WWE, it's really a formality, but they haven't even opened discussions or conversations about extending a contract. Becky Lynch, his wife, also up for renegotiation. I would imagine both get signed with a quickness, top money. I would not be surprised at all. The concern I have is there's so many people coming up in 2024, and with all the contract conversation taking place around UFC deals in the past, and now TKO being the parent company of both, you got to wonder how much money they want to throw around at these people to make all this stuff happen. So it'll be very curious to see how that all plays out. This week, I should say the next week, Thursday, December 21st, is a big day in pro wrestling. Can't forget that is the day that the bulk of the talent that WWE let go in September will have their non-compete clauses expire. That list of talent: Dolph Ziggler, Mustafa Ali, Shelton Benjamin, Dana Brooke, Aaliyah, Rick Boogs, Mace Mansoor, Riddick Moss, Top Dollar, Elias, Dabakato, Quincy Elliott, Ulyssa Leon, Shanky, and Matt Riddle all will be free to work wherever they choose next Thursday. I would love to see some debuts on Collision. I really would. Not sure which ones. Dolph Ziggler's kind of like the easy one. Mustafa Ali, I would love to see also. And Matt Riddle. After that, not quite sure, but I'd like to see some people show up in a major promotion other than WWE as soon as they're available. And the last thing I got to get to tonight, because I love and hate this all at the same time, the dissolution or replacement of the IWGP United States or United Kingdom Heavyweight Championship, currently held by Will Ospreay, being rebranded into the New Japan Pro Wrestling Global Championship. And that will happen at Wrestle Kingdom 18 when Will Ospreay will face David Finlay and Jon Moxley. The winner is going to be crowned the new Global Heavyweight Champion. But think about the terminology there. The Global Heavyweight Champion. Is that championship something that is regarded on the same level as the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship? I mean, global and world and all this. These companies throw around these words like they don't mean anything. They have a purpose. People were hypothesizing they'd bring back the Intercontinental Championship, which I would have been fine with, because in the wrestling world, that always feels like a subordinate championship to the world champion. This has a different vibe to it, and I don't know how I feel about that. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But I definitely find it interesting. It adds another layer to the Wrestle Kingdom card, and if you haven't seen that, we'll go over that in the future. But the card is coming together. It's going to be a fantastic show. You got to check that out. If you can get New Japan World or look for that somewhere online streaming, it's going to be an amazing, amazing program. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next show where we run down all the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks as always goes out to bensound.com and purpleplanet.com for producing any music and sound we use in our shows. Today's podcast sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bring a new friend to family game night. It is very easy. Go to thegamecrafter.com and grab a copy of the coolest new game, Sketchy People. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beazle Games by going again to thegamecrafter.com and picking up your copy today. If you're looking for your next career, maybe you're considering college, university life, or maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our sister website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking a few moments with us today. Till next time, take care, everybody. Have a great night.